Hey everyone, this is Jose for On Tour, traveling to the industrial cities of the Lehigh Valley. On this tour stop, we visit the unique history of Allentown and the way they created cement for America. Then, we take a stroll through the center of Easton to experience the connection to the wider Pennsylvania. And following that, we visit the pioneers of steel in Bethlehem. So let's go on tour and experience the Lehigh Valley. Welcome to the Lehigh Valley, an area defined by the Lehigh River. This area has three sister cities that changed the landscape of America: Allentown, Bethlehem, and Easton. The cities in this valley act as a visual guide of industrial ingenuity. With gigantic relics, they've left a legacy in American industry, a legacy that made them the pioneers in shaping the Industrial Revolution. So one of the first things you want to go to when visiting Allentown is their antique car museum, America on Wheels. Going right into our field trip, we land at the America on Wheels Museum. This museum is a page of history, giving us a look at the American automobile throughout the decades. Pennsylvania is a forefather when it comes to the industrial age, sometimes overshadowing their impact to the automotive history. In Allentown, we celebrate the history of transportation in this museum, and in the city's other museum, we learn about Mack trucks. The Mack truck started in Brooklyn in the 1900s, but it wasn't until they moved to Allentown in 1905 that their company flourished. What makes this museum more exciting is their train diorama, miniature models like the giant trains we saw in Scranton, Pennsylvania. So one of the things I love about Pennsylvania are places like this, fairgrounds, farmers markets, things that you don't see anywhere else, and so much great food. So let's go have a try. As I walk through the alleys of Allentown's Art Museum, I keep thinking to myself of how important these streets were in shaping America. America's Industrial Revolution was born in the Lehigh Valley. The railroad system and canals fed the materials needed to build a nation. Allentown produced iron, and the railroad system engulfed every last piece of it. And I can pull up a list of every single innovation that has come out of Pennsylvania. These regions all provided a part in making American history, and cities painted with magnificent murals tell their stories. And everywhere, and I mean everywhere, I see delicious foods of all kinds to fuel our adventure. As we go from city to city, we take a detour to the borough of Coplay, located 6 miles outside of Allentown, with its own impactful place in the American history books.
And this is the Coplay Cement Kilns in the Allentown suburb of Coplay. In this very site, Pennsylvania was a world leader in creating Portland cement, the only one of its kind in America and only second in the world. So what is Portland cement? Well, it's the most common form of cement used today.
The history of the state intrigues me more and more as I travel to each city. Portland cement, a basic ingredient of concrete, mortar, stucco, and grout. It's wild to think something so simple in our everyday life has a history in this state, right here in the town of Coplay. David O. Saylor built the 90-foot kilns as he started the Coplay Cement Company. It was this site where Saylor's team replicated the popular cement that was invented in England. Something we overlook in this day and age, and in my opinion is something I believe is truly revolutionary.
So here, we're in Easton. It's the meeting point of the Delaware and Lehigh River. Right behind me is the National Canal Museum, where they preserve the history and importance of the canal system to Easton and the whole Lehigh Valley.
Easton, Pennsylvania. It's the smallest of the three cities, but packs a big punch. Easton is where the Delaware and Lehigh Rivers merge. That merge point created a transportation mecca during the most important moments of the industrial age. The Canal Museum tells the story of canals and how they shaped America. In this state alone, there were 1,200 canals, more than any other state at the time. Along the museum is a canal that connected from Jim Thorpe to Easton. Pennsylvania has one of the largest canal systems in America, only declining in popularity because of the railroad. I walk along the dried up canal as the season soaks it up, and I imagine the busier moments that made the stories of today. The canal served as a connection to the anthracite mines in the Wyoming Valley. It also helped expand and make trading easier between eastern and western Pennsylvania. So let's take a seat for a minute and just enjoy nature, as this industrial region has plenty of it. Back to the river. The Lehigh River. It flows across Easton. It's more than 100 miles of river stretch, becoming a haven for whitewater rafting during the summer. The river was used to transport lumber, coal, steel, cement, and much more during the industrial age. The river itself is a tributary of the Delaware River. It also played a key role in discovering the fragments to create Portland cement. The river flows right into the city, where you can get a glimpse of the merge at Scott Park, a scenic park at the heart of Easton for you to spend a day enjoying the view with family or friends. Let's take a walk around Easton and enjoy some of the local culture, scenic views, and entertainment venues. As we walk, we see a fire call, where the firefighters are putting out a blaze. I'm always thankful for the servicemen and women who go above and beyond duty to ensure our safety. This city is vibrant, a place where I love to bring family to enjoy being at the center, where you can see fun places like the Crayola Experience, hip eateries, cool stores, and just a very calm place to take a walk. The center of town has a giant candle signifying peace and tranquility during the holidays. I walk the public center admiring the symbolism and think of how important it is into the new year.
This day of adventure sure works up an appetite. So I'm gonna stop here at Easton's Public Market and get something to eat, man. I'm starving. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. It could be credited as the first area to have an industrial park. And this right here is the National Industrial Quarters, giving the tourists a glimpse of how they used to operate.
This small site within Bethlehem has been around before the American independence. The local people of this area took advantage of the Monocacy Creek and built a work system that could be the foundation for modern industrial parks.
One thing I'll give this area credit to, at night it's lit up with Christmas lights and it looks amazing.
The Moravian people built sawmills, blacksmith shops, brass foundries, and all other types of workshops to create a community. The National Industrial Quarters is a historic landmark to demonstrate the ingenious efforts of a people and what they could do with tools. Each structure has a different story inside the landmark that paved the way for a modern workshop.
Bethlehem steel, the backbone of America. It's a phrase I heard on a TV show a couple years ago, and I started digging into it and came across the steel stacks. And I know right there, I had to go visit Bethlehem and learn more about its steel history.
Bethlehem, PA. It has many names, and it was one of the originators of a pumped municipal water system. But one of the things I know them to be most famous for is Bethlehem steel. And this gigantic structure is the epitome of historic monument. How can you not marvel at this centerpiece? It brings fascination, curiosity, and admiration to the sheer size of this 10-acre campus and the steel that was once produced here. We've transformed this into a place of art, and what better way to let imagination roam free than with a rustic vibe?
The steel stacks, they're ghosts and giant to America's industrial golden age. Bethlehem was the second largest producer of steel in the world. The complexity and design of this site just show you how active and important steel was to the identity of the city. Now it acts as an amphitheater in the summer, where large venues of rock concerts happen right here in the stacks.
Bethlehem Steel was one of the world's largest producers of steel and shipbuilding companies. The largest furnaces at this site are more than 230 feet tall. The roots of American landmarks can be traced to the steel that was created here. Bridges like the Golden Gate, George Washington and Verrazano, or Alcatraz, and even the Hoover Dam, all can trace their materials to Bethlehem steel. Such an important piece of American history, all connected within the confines of the Lehigh Valley. I wish I could capture the magic of just how gigantic this guy is. It really is something you got to see in person, because you've never seen anything like this. Driving in, and I was in awe. I just couldn't believe the size, the sheer size of this. As I complete my tour of the Lehigh Valley, I couldn't help but spend time in Bethlehem, which they call Christmas City, USA, but also jump around to the other great Christmas attractions in its sister cities to enjoy a prosperous new year. The Lehigh Valley. It's a time capsule of contributions to the Industrial Revolution of America. It's an ever-changing landscape of youth, art, and excitement. It's a place of community, history, and culture. This is Jose for On Tour. If you like what you've seen today, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and share. If you want to know more about the places I went to, please see the links below. Until next time.